Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back in time.
Sure,
Let's go through this thing chronologically. You have the Flintstone credit card printer. You're just starting to get into
low tech
making the
operation,
plastics.
yeah.
Low tech. What starts happening after that?
I started progressively making a little bit more money, and I was able to slowly just start upgrading every piece of equipment to make a better product. And
Okay.
That was kind of like, I say about a year. It took about a year really to get going, to really get like the good equipment, to where I could make a credit card that looks like it came straight from the bank. And when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I kind of knew. Like, I didn't have the clientele yet, but I knew I had the product. I knew I had the product right, Were you honing in like the design of these cards? The templates. Yeah, the templates. Everything had to be right. I mean, I had to figure out how to make the Visa logo.
Because there's holograms and shit built into these cards. It's pretty technical the way to design them.
Yeah.
The Chinese guys.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
The hologram issue, I found a dude in China. Yeah, I found a dude in China that owned a printing company, and I basically
The Alibaba?
I was Alibaba, or was it
I know Fiverr wasn't around back
DH
then.
Gate or something like that.
DH Gate.
I think it was
That's still
DH
around?
Oh, they're still cranking.
Holy
Yeah,
shit,
they're
that's
cranking.
funny.
So I found a dude on there, and I cut out a credit card. I cut one out of like a real credit card, and then I mailed it to him, to China. And I was like, can you do this for me? And I was like, I sent him. He's like, send me a sample. And I sent it to him, and I think like 6 weeks later, I got like a roll of like 5,000 Visa and MasterCard holograms, heat press hollows.
Damn.
Yeah. And then once I had those, it was a wrap. Because I mean, my graphic design game's pretty dope.
Is
So
it?
yeah, I'm a wizard with that shit. I've always have been, It's just something that I've just always been natural with. And so yeah, I mean, once I did that, and once I had the holograms, and once I had the actual physical product made, once I figured out how to make the Visa logo, once I had figured out how to do the SIG strip on the back, the signature strip on the back, because that's like a whole thing, and then there's like this rear indent embossing. I had to figure that out. So there was hurdles, and it took a while. It took like 6 or 8 months before I had a verifiable, certifiable, a product that you just couldn't shoot holes in. There's no way. Yeah.
It would be completely indistinguishable from a regular credit card.
Yeah, if you put your from Bank of America and you put mine next to it, there'd be no difference. There'd be no difference.
That's fucking crazy, man.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with that? So now you're making these credit cards and you're selling them on these forums or what?
I started using them
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Because I didn't
To
really,
test them out?
Yeah, just to see, do test runs, and flying colors. Nobody even bat an eyelash. I never had one issue, never one single issue. Maybe a couple declines, just because the dump information wasn't probably, good or whatever. But yeah. So I was using them, and then I figured out, okay, let me get on the forum. And I was already dealing with people on the forum from buying dumps and buying plastic and stuff like that. So I talked to a few of my guys on the forum, and I had to get, they had to vouch for me. But since I'd already been on the forum for 1.5 years, 2 years, that wasn't really a big deal, And I was on 2 or 3 different forums, so I was pretty well known in the community, It's just like
You had like a popular screen name?
I did, yeah. US Plastico.
US Plastico.
That's what probably in the long run. That's what probably got me fucked.
Really?
Was trying to be clever, and you know what I mean. And
you're trying to brand yourself.
I was thinking, I should have just been like, anonymous or whatever. But so I think that's.
But you have to stay consistent on that scam in that scam world, though, right? I mean, people have to know who you are to be able to trust you.
Yeah.
So it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. And like I said, I had 2 years in at that point, and I knew all the major players in the game, and I knew who was doing what just from being on the forums and being on IRC.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so what happens next?
My product got better.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you already meet Milmo Man at this?
No, Melmo Man came after I got onto Dark Market.
Oh, okay.
But I wasn't on. No, that was Carter.su. I met Melmo Man, and that came later. That came, that was probably towards the very end, like at the very pinnacle of my career, if you want to put it that way.
Melmo Man?
Yeah, Melmo Man was the dude who opened up all the doors for me in the karting world. He
Really?
He had all the he knew. Yeah, he plugged me in.
So you still
That
at this
was it.
point you got the guy from China who printed thousands of these holograms for you for your credit cards.
Yeah.
You had these fucking rock solid fake credit cards that you made.
Yeah.
But you still had like a long way to go before you reached your peak.
Oh yeah. Well, I had no clientele. You know,
Okay.
I had no clientele, and it took a while. It took maybe 6 months to build trust in the community and to build clientele.
So, thousands of these credit cards, you're literally taking these little holograms, and you're physically like placing them on each of these credit cards with your hands, like hand by hand.
Each one, each credit card.
Holy shit,
each card's
dude!
handmade.
How long does that take? How long does it take to do one card?
Oh, I had it down. I could print one card in less than 5 minutes. I could print
Everything, stick everything onto it.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, I would already have all the templates lined up in Photoshop,
Okay.
like ready to go. All my windows open. Bam, 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 bam. You know what I mean? And then I would load maybe like 10 or 15 cards in the printer, and I would be like, okay, print in sequence. Print 1, print 2, print 3, print 4, print 5. So then it would run out all the cards, print them front and back. You know what I mean? It would put all, and the only thing I really had to do myself was emboss and do the hologram. So I would have to physically place the hologram myself and use a heat press to adhere it to the plastic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would have to manually emboss the card myself. And this is before I got the auto embosser, where I could just throw them in and do a batch, and it would, run a 50 or 100 at a time.
Damn.
Yeah. So when I got really efficient at it, I could maybe do 100 cards in an hour. About an hour. I could print, hologram, and emboss about 100 cards.
So you make close to 1,000 cards in a day.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. If I'm cranking away, but then sometimes you have problems. The printer gets too hot and starts fucking melting cards and printing shit sideways. So you've always got little issues.
Right.
Yeah, like that you got to deal with. But yeah, I could do 1,000 cards in a day.
What's the most cards that you did in a day, you think?
That I've manufactured in one day?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've done about 800, between 600 and 800 in one day. On a good day, if everything was going right and I had all my equipment operating properly. Yeah.
Okay, so how did you start getting this out there on online or on these black market, on these on the dark web, and start getting customers to buy shitloads of them?
Yeah. So the first Carter forum that I was on, I went ahead and I just made my first post. Here I am, new vendor. Right. Here's my product. You post pictures. It's like it was like a whole thing, not anymore. And then, I would get maybe like 1 or 2 orders a month, And then once those orders came in and like people started leaving positive feedback, it just kind of snowballed after that. And then I remember the day, because I would only get maybe 1 or 2 orders, but I remember the day I woke up and I checked one of my emails and I had 15 or 20 orders waiting for me, and I couldn't believe it.
How much is
$1,000.
One order is $1,000?
Yeah.
For how many cards?
100.
100 cards.
Yeah, it's $20 a card, 100 cards, 2 drivers, or I'd make IDs for you, however many you wanted, and then I would do, I think it was like 100 cards, embossed, everything encoded, numbers.
And IDs?
And IDs. Yeah.
Holy shit.
But I wouldn't make 100 IDs. Obviously, I'd make like 2 or 3.
Okay.
Or whatever they wanted. But so there was a cap on that.
So the IDs have to obviously correspond with the credit cards?
Exactly, yeah. Because say you go to a store and you make a purchase, and it's over like $300 or $400. Like a lot of stores, like people don't realize this, but a lot of stores, like say Best Buy, you go to Best Buy, if you make a purchase over $300, they physically ask for your card. And they physically take your card and they go on their POS machine. Now their POS machine, the point of sale service machine, won't let them process the sale unless the 4 digits on the front of the card match what's actually encoded to the card. So it's like a security step. So what they do is they take the card and they punch the numbers into the computer because you've already swiped it. So they're going to punch these numbers in, and if these numbers on the front of the card don't match what's being swiped, it's automatic fraud. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to have the corresponding plastic to match the numbers, and you have to have the ID because they're going to ask for ID because I don't have the people's PIN number, so you're not processing it as debit. You always have to process it as credit, even though it's a debit card.
Got it.
So they have to have ID. When you process anything for credit, they always ask for ID, always, especially if it's a big purchase.
Right.
Huh. Louis Vuitton, you go to Louis Vuitton and try and buy a $2,000 handbag on a credit card, they're going to ask you for ID. Right. 1,000%.
Yeah.
Even if you go in there looking the part, they're still going to ask. They always ask for ID.
Right.
So you have to have the ID to match the card. Everything has to jive. The numbers, everything has to be coherent.
Okay, so is there a minimum number of cards they had to buy for one order? So is the minimum 100 minimum 100?
It was a $1,000 minimum order.
Okay.
So it was 100 cards, and then I would work with them on the IDs, like whatever they wanted.
Okay.
Because those were easy to make.
Cool. So that's good money. You're getting a couple orders a day, making a couple thousand.
I was doing like 1 or 2 orders a month. And then,
Okay.
like I said, I woke up that one morning and I remember I had 20 orders waiting on me, and I couldn't believe it.
One morning, you just had 20
I
orders.
had 20 waiting on me. Yeah, I remember that day distinctively. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I was running around the house jumping off the fucking furniture, dude.
Were you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, 20 grand, that's a lot of money for somebody who doesn't have shit.
That's a lot of
And
money
for somebody who's
anybody.
been getting robbed and pouring all their fucking every dollar they've had into this shit for the past 2.5 years and not going anywhere. You know? So to me, this was victory. This was, I made it.
Right.
Yeah.
So what else are you doing in the meantime besides, I mean, obviously you're just sitting online, like you have your info sitting online for people to order, and there's only so much time you're spending making these cards. What else are you doing?
I was doing some online carding. I was
Okay.
doing some virtual, call it virtual carding. I was doing virtual carding. I was still going in stores here and there.
Okay.
And, mind you, I wasn't spending any money at this time either because I had cards. If I needed gas, I would go
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
fill up with a card at the gas station. If I needed groceries, I would take a card to the grocery store and buy $300-$400 in groceries. So all my money is basically just going in a fucking shoebox in the closet, and I'm not really spending any of it. Yeah. And at this point in time, I had been living off of credit cards, stolen credit cards, for probably 3.5 years. Like, I didn't have a job for 3.5 years. I was just using stolen credit cards for everything.
Where were you living?
At this point, I was in Coral Springs.
Okay. And you pay your rent with the credit cards?
Oh, well, I would just go, when rent time would roll around, I'd go grab a laptop or 2 laptops.
Get cash?
Just cash it out, go pay $1,000 for rent or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. What a fucking life. How old were you?
Early
At
20s?
this point, when
early
you got the
20s?
$20,000 order, early 20s?
Yeah, I was about 25. 24, 25.
Okay.